Word, dude. Thanks for doing this. How have you been?
Pretty good. What about you?
Fucking been all right. Been busy. Moving all around. A lot of moving pieces. A lot of physicals coming together. How about you? Were just in Italy, some shit, right?
Yeah, I was doing like an archaeological dig. I was making beats in the mountains. I had like a window every day in between like dinner and finishing digging that I would just like sit in my bed there and just work on music. I would either work on music or play like Zelda or some shit in the Switch.
Nice. Like, that was like a school thing? Like a school trip or what?
Yeah, well, it's like I do history in university, so I was like, and there's like you could go on that dig and get extra credits, and like I take university slowly because I like doing other stuff at the same time, like work on music and shit. I don't want to like take up my entire life, so I was like, well, I might as well do this because it's just a month long, and then it gives me like a bunch of extra credits, so I could like get like a head start and catch up with everyone else my age.
Yeah,
because I'm like way older than where I should be in university. So yeah.
Well, fuck it. It's university, you know, like you're going to have people of all ages like that. I wouldn't even consider that thing older. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's like I already have like my friend group here, so I go to class and I like chat with the people there, but like I'm absolutely fine with like not becoming friends with them because I already have like a good amount of friends here and people that like most of my friends are in like the music scene here, and then like school people is just like I'll just talk to them in class or some shit.
So you're up in Canada. You're up in where it again?
Halifax. Yeah,
Halifax.
Yeah.
Why did I click that? But so what's up with the music scene there? It's a pretty cool DIY scene or what? What's going on with that?
Yeah, some pretty good DIY stuff. It's mainly like rock and punk, which is dope. But it's like for electronic stuff, it's like I guess it's a bit less. Like the most electronic-y stuff is like hip hop, but they have like there's like this collective called Bleep in the Dark, which is like a collective like experimental electronic artists who they have like they run mini festivals where like there'll be certain venues that they always go to where they have a lineup that goes for like hours and it's like ambient music and shit, and it's really cool.
But that's sick.
Yeah, I joined it recently. I think I haven't played with them yet, but I have my first gig with them in like December, so it's in a while. I was supposed to play this summer, but
yeah, dude, I was gonna say you got to be doing some ambient stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like I just had my first gig as Blaned like the other day, and I was doing more housey stuff. Like I played like the Sev remix and I played Rainwalk and stuff like that. And I just played a bunch of other unreleased shit. But I haven't really done too much ambient stuff. At that same gig, one of my friends who was playing there as well did more ambient stuff with like an SP404. It was pretty dope. But I just did more housey kind of things.
Sick, dude. What yeah, so like what you just blew my fucking mind there for a second cuz you just said the name of your project. And I've been saying it wrong the entire time.
Yeah, that's funny because everyone does. I mean, like people say like, is it Blaned? I'm like, that's close enough because it's Blaned. You've been saying Blaned the entire time, right? That's what I guess it.
Or Bland. I don't even know. Like I'll say that and be like, that's not right.
Yeah, well, I mean, like it's kind of my fault. I can't complain when people say it wrong because it's a Welsh word. It's like a Welsh language word, so it's not English. So people are gonna see it and pronounce it differently. But it means like planet in Welsh, which is funny because it's almost exactly the same. It's like Blaned.
Really? Oh, yeah. I get it now. Oh, fuck, I get it. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and then you can kind of make the connection to my art, which is like the floating orb in my hand. It kind of looks like a planet almost.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, that's the reason why I keep that art. Like Spotify always like notifies me every time I make a release. It's like, you should update your profile picture. I'm like, I'm not doing that because it works with my name. So,
it does that for everyone, believe me. Like I'll update my shit that day and it's like, you should do it again. It's like, no, I shouldn't. I just did this. Well, respect it's true. My time I took into making these selfies. Bullshit.
Well, I mean, like Spotify looks at me and I have like averaging around like 100-month listeners, and it's like, you should update your profile picture to like refresh it for your fans. I'm like, trust me, I don't think they fucking care. It's like I don't think my 100 fans care that I'm updating my profile picture or not.
Yeah, it's fucked, Spotify. I'm pretty sure I get those too. It's just like, update it for your new release, and it's like for like one of my just like throwaway projects, and I'm just like, nah, I'm not gonna fucking do that because it's a scary noise track of nothing, so it's not that big of a deal. I just think that's funny. Yeah. Oh my god. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of it. How did you fucking start on this musical journey? What made you start making music, bro?
Okay, well, I've been playing like music since I was like 6. Like I learned piano from my cousin and shit. And then I did that till I was like 11 or something, and then I stopped. And then kind of music.
Pause right there. Was it your cousin? Like, why did you want to pick up the piano? Were people just like, you have to fucking play an instrument, you goddamn 6-year-old, or what? Like, did you really want to do it? You listen to ABBA? What's going on with that?
Maybe a mix of both. I think it was a mix of like, well, you know, like humans love to convince themselves they believe in something, or like they like to do some shit or something like that. So it's like, obviously every human does that, even though I'm saying this, like I'm a culprit of doing it all the time. So it's like, when I'm like 6 years old, my mom's like, you should play the piano. And then I get excited about the fact that like I'm like making my mom happy or some shit. So then like I go and I do it. And then I'm like, maybe I convince myself I want to do it or whatnot. But I'm still glad I did it, because eventually I'm happy that I did it, because once I matured more and I actually became more of a human, I realized that it's like, oh, I like music. But when I'm 6 years old, I probably don't know what the fuck like I actually want to do. So there's definitely a mix of like me wanting to do it, and then a mix of like parents' pressure, because my mom comes from like a more musical family. So,
well, I mean, like not a lot of people stick with it when their parents pressure them, and it comes like that kind of place from like a, you know, like all the kids are playing baseball, you better go fucking play baseball, guy, like, or whatever the fuck, like. So it's cool that you stuck with it and you use that in your music, because it's obvious that you have like some classically trained eye with your chords, and like just how everything flows. You can tell there's like a background.
Does it sound like that? Like, do you like listen to that shit and you're like, oh, this guy like grew up playing classical music?
No, not like that. It's more so like, as someone who is completely not classically trained, I hear your stuff and I'm like, he knows he knows at least a little something. Like, because this is some shit I couldn't just like whip out. You know what I mean?
I don't know, maybe. For me, it's like dormant in my brain, because like I said, I stopped when I was like 11, and my cousin was teaching me. And it was dope learning from my cousin, because he didn't really follow like formal rules. He was just like, by the end of like he like did one of those kids guidebook kind of things where it's like you go through a book and you learn like goofy ass songs to try to learn how to play the piano. And then once we were done that, he's like, I'm not going to the next level. Like I remember being at school, like elementary school, and kids were like, oh, I also take piano lessons. What level are you? I'm like, what does that mean? Like, I don't do levels. It's like we did the first book, and then maybe we kind of like went through the second one a bit, but then after he like got like Maurice Ravel and shit and like put like classical music in front of me, and then he was like, we're gonna improvise over this. And then he would sit at one end of the piano and I'd sit at the other end of the piano, and we both like make songs with the music. And then I guess eventually, like, that's really dope. I'm really glad I did that, because now when I go to the piano, I just improvise shit. Like, I don't like really try to play anything. I just like make stuff, and that probably helped me a lot.
Yeah. So would you say most of your stuff is kind of just like improv, and then you throw some shit on top of it?
Yeah, well, I like learning songs and then making my own thing out of it. Hence, like, my Avril 14th cover. I just thought it'd be kind of funny if I just, like, because I would always play that song at that period last year, and then I'd always, like, turn it into, like, a 30-minute song instead of just, like, the regular 2 minutes or whatever of the Aphex Twin song. So then I was like, well, April 14th is coming up soon. April 14th is coming up soon. This is me, my brain last year. I was like, April 14th is coming up soon, so let me just, like, I'll just record myself playing one time, and then it ended up being, like 13 minutes long, and then I just kind of mixed it a bit and then released it on April 14th as like a little joke.
Yeah, I checked it out like a while ago, and then I just re-listened to it right now, and I'm just like, damn, this is actually a very nice tribute. Like, it's pretty sweet. It's very like, it's kind of just like what you wanted. Like, you wanted an extended version, you know? It's just like a nice extended version, kind of, you know what I mean? It's sweet. Good job with it. Also,
yeah, thanks.
The promoted song, the promoted on what's it fuck? That was funny as fuck. It was because of all those Instagram comments.
Which song? Sorry. Oh, I mean the promote on Beat World. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just made like a goofy ass beat, and I was playing Stardew Valley at the time, and you know how like Stardew Valley has a lot of like Tonga drums in the beat and stuff. and like a lot of the tracks in the soundtrack, and I was like, those shit sound cool. So then I went to Ableton and I got one of like the stock Tonga drums that which comes with like Ableton standard, and I just like was like making rolls with it and stuff, and then I ended up just crafting like a weird ass beat. And then I posted, I'm like, I made this goofy beat. What should I name it? And then one of my roommates like commented, was like, call it Promote on Beat World Nova Scotia, because there's like all these like community like spam pages that are like promoting on Nova Scotia community and shit like that. And then I thought that was hilarious, so I just called the beat that.
I mean, like, it. Now that you say that, I can see it's kind of like the one song. Like, did you beat Stardew Valley, by the way?
I mean, what do you mean by beat it? Like beat the volcano?
Yeah, you fucking do all the spots that you can get to. You beat it, basically.
I guess, sort of. It's like, when Tears of the Kingdom came out, I paused. But, like, right when I paused, I was like, I'd already, like, gone through the whole volcano. I, like, crafted some shit with some, like, enhancer, weapon enhancer thing at the end of the volcano and that big machine. I've done, like, that. I went to the desert. I did all that shit. I had not completed the... when you beat the community center and you get to go to the volcano, and then also like the Joja Mart becomes like a community center type thing. I had not done that yet. Yeah. I had not like gone to Joja Mart and done that. I had not brought in all the rare items there yet. So I still haven't fully beaten the game yet, but I'll be getting there. I just need to play Tears of the Kingdom. I need to beat that shit first. And I'm going to go back to Stardew Valley.
I was going to say it's a good fucking game. I was gonna say the fucking volcano track, where it's just like, I don't know. It's just the beat, the synths. It's fucking. I just think I call it ballin' in space, because that's all I think about. It just sounds like a basketball track, but you're on like a fucking asteroid or something. It's some dumb. I don't know, but like that's kind of what I was thinking of with the Promoted on BeatStars or whatever the fuck. That's funny as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, the funny part is I think I made a lot of that beat before I even got to the volcano, and then I got to the volcano, and I was like, this shit's crazy. Like, the music is insane. It hit me all at once. It sounded like, I don't know, who did it sound like? It almost sounded like there's like an artist I'm thinking of, but it's kind of just like that heavy kind of low end bass with like the barely any attack. Like, it just like hits you all at once. Like, there's no like rising sound. It's like dung dung instead of like whoop. And yeah. Like it's hitting you in the face. It sounds like Death Grips almost, like the synths they have in their song.
If Death Grips was in a video game.
Yeah,
or some shit like that.
With more kind of like 8-bit, 16-bit sounding drums, and it's really dope. But no, I think that asteroid explanation is really good.
Yeah, it's all I think about, and like it'll just be stuck in my head for days. Fuck. But you kind of brought up another thing I wanted to talk about, like fucking like you have like a really interesting way of like produce, like your songs are very like open. Like when they have shit going on and it's not just like an ambient track or a piano track, we have like a lot of elements cracking. It feels so like it's really unique. Like it's very like that Dentel and like that artist you showed me with the V, whose name I can't remember.
Vegan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like all that shit is so like, I don't want to, it's like open canvas or something. It feels just like it's like playing out, and then like just whatever happens. I don't know. It's very like I can't guess what's gonna happen next. Sometimes it's really cool, which is why like I'm super interested in your music, and I think it's really original. Like, but you keep doing all these like EPs and shit that are like stuff you've done, and you're like remaking them. Like, are we ever gonna see like are you working on like a total fucking album of just beats like that, like crazy, like all over the place, like kind of like how we did Saga tracks? Like, what's your thought? Like, or do you prefer doing the ambient stuff?
What do you mean by EPs of stuff I've done?
Like, I was going through your stuffs, and like your last EP you dropped, there's like a lot of callbacks. Or like you did redo Rain Walk. I went back.
Oh yeah, okay.
Stuff, and like Ambivalence is in there, and like there's a couple other tracks like I Care Because You Do is in there. I did like the track with the singer on it, like the second to last track. That was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. My most recent album, it's like a mini album.
Yeah.
Yeah, that album like wasn't really planned. It's like Ambivalence and all that shit's on it, and I released that stuff I made it like a year and a half ago, and like I Care Because You Do I made like over 2 years ago, but those were like songs I'd make and then I released, and like I had an idea of them slowly building up to something, but like I wasn't totally sure, and like this album had like different names in my head going like over time, and like the track list was weird, and there was gonna be different songs on it that I never made. And I still have like different projects, like Ableton projects and all the stems and shit for all these songs that I never finished that like maybe I'll finish at some point. But eventually it became that. And I was like, okay, these are certainly singles for an album because they all sound pretty similar. So like, what's this album going to be? And then I like kind of put it together in my head, and I realized it's going to be like, I found like a theme throughout all the songs that I mixed. Well, I made all the songs and I mixed them all with like an untuned piano. It was a piano that was out of tune. And then I was like, okay, so all the piano's broken in all these songs, so I'll just call it like Coco's Broken Piano. So then, yeah, and then eventually like the last track, the one with the singer, Eczema, with Embla Maria, she... well, I asked her, I'm like, do you want to be in a song, my like first solo album? She's like, sure. And then that was like the last song I made for the album. I made it like around... It was like last Christmas time or something at the end of 2022. And I like started making the beat, and from just like this one, I think it was like an old Amen break kind of boom bap sample that I slowed down. And then it was also like some synth sample that's like the ambient riff in the background that I like fucked with. And then I was like, okay, this is going to become something. And then I started adding all the piano, and I got her to do vocals, and I mixed it, and I added like all this other ambient shit. Like the crackling sound that comes in halfway through that song is like my girlfriend making eggs. And like she's making eggs, and I was like, hold on, I got like my phone out and I recorded it, and I'm like, this is a good final crackle.
Yeah, like you'd be surprised with how cooking sounds really come into play with music. Like the first Forest Kids album ever, I had like my field recorder, and we're like, yo, let's go outside and get some steps, you know, just like walking in the grass and shit, and like we'll get rocks and whatnot. And like on our way out, it's just like me and my buddy Mike. My mom's cooking chicken cutlets, and we're like, oh, and we just like dip that shit right in the fucking pan for like 2 minutes, and it was like perfect. It was like the weirdest like
yeah, no, it works really well.
Sizzling. Oh, it's crazy. We actually have this act in Philadelphia. I don't know what do you even want to call it? Like act or experience called like the South Philly Barbacoa. And I don't know if they still do it, but like for a while they would have these dinners where people would come, and like the guy's cutting board was hooked up to a pedal board, and that was amplified in the room, and they would have like other like a saxophonist or like a drummer or something, and they would just improv to like him cutting stuff, and he'd be like, as he's like chopping some shit or whatever the fuck. It was the craziest thing. And then like other guys are going like just like synchronizing to this cacophonous sound of him cooking, and then he would serve you the food. It was insane, man. Like food and music, there's something there for sure.
Yeah, that shit's crazy. Guys like cutting carrots, and it's like and like
yeah, he's got like delays and stuff on it, and like filters. It's insane.
That would be like the funniest shit to watch too.
The room is tiny. It's like my fucking basement. It's tiny, and so you're literally like as close as you are to my face with the screen. It's like we're just bam right there with this guy cooking. You're like, all right, sick. Like that's going in my mouth.
It's like
making beautiful music.
It's almost like it's like you know, like a boiler room set, and everyone's like crowded around them in like some tiny ass like hot room. It's like that shit.
Literally, oh my god, that'd be funny as fuck. Boiler room, but they're actually doing like crawfish boils.
Yeah,
and like somehow it relates to the music. The more they
turn
up.
It works. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fucking great. Like that the beat drop is when they drop in more seafood. I don't know how you make a boil. I'm sure you put it all in at once.
Yeah, I mean, like speaking of like sampling footsteps outside, I was looking through my samples on my phone, just like out of curiosity to see if there's anything I could use. And like over the years, I've been like obsessed with sampling like feet in snow, like the crunch sound. Like I have like many different recordings of me like walking in snow in like Halifax and in Ottawa, where I'm from, like the capital of Canada. It's like just like walking in snow and like recording it, like having my phone down to my feet, just recording shit. And I'm trying to like figure out where it comes from. I think it comes from Bjork, because I think like there's that one Bjork song, I forget what it's called. It's on Vespertine. It's called like Aurora. That's the song. It's called Aurora. And like right at the beginning, there's like a sample of her like doing that, like crunching her feet in snow, and then it turns into drums. Like she samples it and it turns it into drums. And I'm like, oh my god, like that shit's crazy. You hear it like crunching and then it goes, and I'm like, oh my god, it turns into like a drum beat. That's sick. And like I was like so inspired by that. I started like recording my feet in snow all the time.
I mean, so do you get a lot of snow? How often does it snow up there?
Well, Ottawa, it snows a lot more than Halifax. Halifax is more mild. It's like a tinier Boston, essentially. It's like, it was historically built for the same reason. And it's pretty close to Boston. Boston's like closer to me than like my home city, Ottawa. And so it gets like, it's got like that mild like ocean climate. And so it's like, there'll be days in the winter where it's like, it can be like actually warmer and humid, and it can rain like crazy, and then it'll be like that for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden like a huge snowstorm will come in, like a massive one, and then the snow will stay on the ground for a little while, and then it'll go back to rain, then back to snow and all that stuff. But where I'm from in Ottawa, it's more like it's drier because it's not close to water, so it'll just snow and then it'll become like freezing, and then it'll become dry, and then all the snow will just like freeze in the ground.
Damn, we get just blistering fucking cold winds. It isn't snow in Philly. It hasn't in a long time. Since like pandemic, I'm pretty sure. Or like before pandemic. Yeah, fuck. Well, that's cool. Like I love like leaves and like gravel or like woods. Anything that has to do with branches breaking. That's like a big thing for me. Like Boards of Canada in Geo Gotti uses like actually like a campfire of like like you'll hear these branches being burned, and it's like that squeak, like mixed with like branches breaking into like it's this like creepy fucking loop, and you're like, damn, this is sinister sounding for some reason. And then like all this creepy synth shit comes in. It's so, I don't know, it can be so terrifying and peaceful at the same time, because you got like, you can fuck with like the leaves and stuff. Like woods, it's the Foley library, you know. Are you by a lot of like woodsy areas up, are you, or is it like a city basically?
Well, I'm like close to the suburbs. I'm not in the suburbs, I'm still in the city, but like I'm close enough where there's like tree areas I can find like sticks and all that stuff. I'm next to like train tracks, like I'm near train tracks that have like trees all around them, so that's a pretty like isolated spot.
So wait, how old are you, bro?
I'm 21.
Oh shit, you're a youngin'.
Yeah.
So what are you going to college for historian stuff? That's why you're doing this digs?
I major in geography and I minor in history. So I'm doing it because it's like I'm interested in that stuff. My brain definitely lies in music mostly, but I'm not gonna like lie to myself. Like I'm aware how hard it is to like make a living off music. So I'm doing this sort of as like a backup, like a second plan, just in case music fails. That's why I don't take like a million classes at once, because I want enough time to also do music as well. Because if it takes me like longer to finish university, I don't really care.
Do you have plans to like do like physicals or anything in the future with that? Like running your own stuff or like submitting to labels? Like what's going on with, because I feel like you just do a lot of self-releases and just trying to build that up a lot.
I've always got labels in mind. I'm actually probably the biggest plan right now. I have a couple like beats that I'm sending to labels currently at the moment. Like I was like talking to one today actually. But I'm building up like a demo. I got a bunch of songs I've been making over the last few months, and like I'm probably gonna build up a demo and just send them out to a bunch of labels, some bigger ones, some smaller ones, whatever. Try to get like some that are big enough to at least get some traction on it. Because after like making music for a while and how like fucked up the music industry is right now, I realized like the way you get big is like labels or collabs. It's like you collab with someone else who also has fans, so then like you kind of merge them together, or you release on a label and they like hype you up.
And then there's like the crazy third route where it's like you get unbelievably fucking lucky somehow. You know?
I guess there's sort of a fourth route now where it's like you're on TikTok, but like that's also sort of luck, because TikTok is like the algorithm there is like it's generous, but it's also kind of fucked, where like you can get like 400,000 likes on like one video, but then those people will never see you ever again, because it's like TikTok like one video that you made and they showed it to everyone, and maybe a couple of people stay in your page, but people usually use TikTok not to like look at specific people, but to like use the algorithm to just like see random shit every day. So it's like they'll see your video once and then like they'll never see you ever again.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I just had I had like Scro and Austin Archer on here, and they were talking about how, you know, both of them had a minute where it was like boom, fucking million likes, boom, fucking million likes. And I follow them both now, and I you know, Scro's still, he's more music based, so it's different. But like Austin's putting out like all types of awesome content. Like if anything, his stuff is just like getting better, and it's like he has over 1 million followers on TikTok, and he doesn't even get like, I'm watching his shit and it's only at like 6,000. I know it'll probably go to like 30,000, but like that's crazy for someone with 1 million followers. And like I see this with a bunch of other creators too. It's the weirdest fucking algorithm. The other day I like stopped using TikTok for like 4 days, because every time I logged on and like watched a video, it was just people using fucking filters, those stupid ass AI filters, or some, oh, let's see what Marvel character I am. It's like, shut up, who cares? Like,
oh, I was seeing that shit too. I would like log in and it'd be like someone that's like, oh, an old filter, like what you look like when you're old. I'm like, bro, just wait. You don't have to look at that now.
Yeah, just do a sassy fucking 20-minute thing where you're like, hey, like, I forget who I follow, that like this one guy does it really well, where it's just like him old. It's like, hey, yeah, you don't get to fucking call him that, all right? We were fucking there for that, all right? And then like says some like one-hit wonder bullshit, and you're just like, yo, that's fucking great. Boom. That's all you needed to do with the old filter, not be like, I'm so old, or like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know. It's just, it was gross on how every single video was a filter. And it's like, dude, I go here for like podcast clips and like comedy clips. You know this, TikTok. I've been here for a long time. I've been liking a lot of dumb shit on here. And where's the cats? Not a single cat video?
Yeah, well, you gotta go to Instagram for the cat videos. Instagram's got a lot of good cat videos. But especially like last year, where like one of the new meme trends was like like having goofy ass cat videos, or like cats under like CS:GO gameplay with like Blade songs in the background. That shit was crazy. It's like they're just like the Blade song, like "Be Nice to Me," and then there's like a guy like getting like sniper clips and like CS:GO, and there's just cats meowing and stuff. It's insane.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah.
Fucking, what was the one thing that like I miss? Oh, it was the AI videos of like Biden, Trump, and Barack, and like fucking George Bush just like going to McDonald's, or like going, like they would have like full on episodes of like shenanigans using like the AI voices and like shitty cutouts. That was a huge trend for like a minute this year, and that was like, I was really into that, and I'm a little sad it's gone. I miss that and what you know about rolling down in the deep. You don't see that shit anymore. Exactly.
Yeah, I forgot about that song. That like shit blew up for like a week last year, and like I heard that everywhere, and then I like disappeared. Then I forgot about it till like a month or two ago, and then I looked it back up again. I'm like, this song is so ass, but like it works for like TikTok and stuff.
Oh yeah, or like, yeah, any of that shit. It's just crazy how trends zip by. But yeah, you go to TikTok for like just random absurdist nonsense. You go to Twitter for like
Porn.
porn. Well, that's one thing. But like, you ever just click a Twitter video and scroll? It's fucking wild. It is wild.
No, I don't use Twitter for a reason, but I've heard of it.
Oh my God. Like, it could be like, oh, fucking crazy clips of out of context dogs or like out of context humans. You're just like, whatever. It's like some guy falling. You're like, okay. Next video, some dude getting stabbed to death. You're like, holy fucking shit, dude. Next video is like, you know, people fighting at a club. You're like, Jesus. Next video, people shooting in the street. You're just like, oh, this is like the real shit. This is what I came to see. This is exactly what I expected.
Yeah, I mean, like, the best shit for Twitter is, like, out of context stuff, but, like, nothing, like, aggressive, like a guy getting stabbed to death, but more like, it's more like a guy who just, like, for some reason thinks of some shit and just, like, types it into Twitter. Like, last year when there was, like, that one person that was, like, dudes are either good at bowling or eating pussy, and those things are mutually exclusive. What the fuck? I'm like, why? Like, this person just like thought to like write that in for no reason and just like put it in with no context. And I'm like, that's what Twitter's for. It's just people putting that in. There was another guy one time who was like, yo, mosquitoes really be wildin' this year. They be like rolling down your socks and shit just to bite your ankles. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's gold, but also trash at the same time. It's like Waffle House, the app.
No, I like looking at Twitter screenshots and Instagram. I don't like looking at Twitter.
Yeah, I got to get off it. I'm on it a little too much, to be honest. Instagram is just like videos of people's shit that's better than mine. Like, they're just like, yo, show me your setup now. Don't fucking clean it up. Just take a video and show me your setup. And it's always pristine. The asshole posting the video. And it's just like, no, it's not, dude. Then you don't use that setup. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen that trend?
I've seen some setup videos. I could not use for me personally, I don't give a shit about setup videos because like guys who like would see my setup would like scream at me. It's like my setup is I'm like sitting there with my laptop and I'm like have like either like I rarely work at like my desk with my studio monitors and stuff. Like there's pictures of me in like in an airport with like my laptop in my lap like making beats with like my wireless like bass boosted headphones, like not like mixing it properly because like my headphones are bass boosted. So it's like the highs are like super low and the bass is really high and I'm like making beats and shit. Like that promote on Beat World Nova Scotia beat I started working on that beat. I think it was like in the airport in Halifax and like I had these headphones on which are like bass boosted and like my girlfriend took a picture of me like, you look so goofy. I'm just sitting there with people looking at me and I have like Ableton open. That's like my setup essentially. I just take Ableton with me everywhere. I used to like make beats in my room like behind me my desk with my studio monitors and my laptop and all that shit, but like ever since like I have like a MacBook and a Windows laptop, like a gaming laptop, and I used to just make beats in the gaming laptop, and then I finally downloaded Ableton in my MacBook, and that was like the worst situation for my setup. Like my setup barely sees me anymore because I'm just like upstairs in the living room, or I'm at like my girlfriend's house, or I'm in the airport, and I'm at like a cafe, and I'm like making beats, like at a cafe, like the most lo-fi shit ever. I'm like at a cafe making beats, and like I'm sitting there in like my MacBook. Like I don't use like MIDI controllers anymore. I just like paint everything or like I sample stuff. Because I'm like not in my room like using that shit. It's like I'll still like if I really want to use my MIDI keyboard, I'll come into my room and I'll use it. But a lot of the time now I find myself just using like my like laptop keyboard to like play stuff.
Whoa. That's crazy. Are you happier like that? Do you feel like it's a better process for you?
It's definitely the state I'm in right now. It's like I'm comfortable doing that shit, and then I can go and I can just like change the velocities of the notes if I want to make it sound more human. And I think I'm good enough at doing that now, where it's like it sounds fine. But it's like, if I really like, I'm not like, I'm about my music. If it sounds like ass, I'm not going to finish it. If I am in a situation where like I need a MIDI keyboard, then I'll just go back to my house and plug my MIDI keyboard in. It doesn't take that long. But like, it's like, if I don't really need to do that, then I just won't do it. I'll just like, I'll either like go into my like house piano upstairs in the living room and I'll play real piano and I'll sample myself, or I'll get like a sample of like that I just randomly find on my computer. Like, you know that a track that I just made with you, Say Something Stupid, you know that piano and like the ambient part?
Yeah.
It's like there's like the verse with the guitar and then it cuts and there's like that middle ambient part where piano comes in. There's like piano chords playing. That I made in Italy, so I had no piano with me. I just like I found a recording of my roommate. Like he recorded some piano assignment, some keyboard assignment for class because he does music at school, and like he had like a recording on his iPhone of him playing the piano in our house, like in the living room, to send to his prof, and he sent the recording to me so I could like compress the files or something and make them like a smaller size instead of them being like a bunch of megabytes. It was like a smaller amount or some shit because he didn't know how to do it himself or something. And so he sent me the files, and then I did it for him, and then I looked at him, and I'm like, I'm going to sample this, right? Like, they're on my computer now. I'm going to use them sometime. And then he's like, go ahead. So I got one of those recordings, and there's right at the beginning, he presses one note on the piano before he starts playing the song, and I took that one note, and I turned it to the piano song, and I turned it into the piano sound on Say Something Stupid. It was that one note there.
Oh, man. That's fucking... I feel like that's more creative than sitting there with just like a fucking MIDI keyboard and like a boop bop that's like a sequencer. Like, you're really like, I feel like you're like leaning back, taking a lean back to like the whole process, but like that also kind of forces you to make much more creative moves. And like, I don't know, do you feel like just like having those things like a MIDI keyboard always in front of you, or like even just like a designated area completely like limits how you write?
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's also straight out of laziness. Like, sometimes I just don't want to go down and like plug my MIDI keyboard in. I'm sitting there with Ableton open, like and I'm upstairs in my living room, and I got Ableton open my laptop, and I'm like, do I really have to walk my ass downstairs and plug my MIDI keyboard in, or can I do this another way? Because I don't feel like moving. So it's like, and then I figure out another way to do it. But like, it's not like I'm just using my laptop. I'm mostly using a lot of hardware stuff. I just bought an SP404 the other day. And I like make stuff in my Novation circuit as well, which is what I did that whole gig on the other day. I had a bit of my laptop in it too, but it was mainly just the Novation circuit. And I guess I just like limiting myself. I like just either using a laptop and using Ableton on the laptop, or I just like making beats in a Novation circuit and trying to like figure out what I can do with that, and like challenging myself to see the coolest thing I could possibly make, because it's gonna end up sounding like my vibe anyways, because I'm making it, but it's gonna still sound different because I'm making it on something else. And like, there's certain features in Ableton that you can't use on an Ovation circuit, therefore it'll sound different in the end, even though it'll still sound like me at the same time.
Yeah, man, you certainly have a unique sense of everything. Like, you can tell it's not traditionally put together. You can tell it's kind of, in a good way, like haphazardly crafted. It reminds me of like Dentel stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it's really, really nicely done. Do you think you'll be using like the broken piano? Like, what do you use for that? Do you just like bust out that snowflake mic or whatever you got going on there? Like,
yeah.
Or are you even so lazy to be like, fuck it, I'm using the internal microphone right now to just capture this piano?
Oh no, it's my phone mic all the time. It's like this snowflake mic I only took out when he told me that I need to record my own vocals, and I didn't feel like having to set up my audio interface and all that shit for like my proper microphone. And I was like, I need a USB mic, and I just looked at my bin and I saw that I had I remembered that I have like 2 blue snowballs, and so I took it out. I haven't used one of these in like years, but I just had it there, so I just took it out and used it. If I'm like No, I'm like way too lazy for even getting out a Blue Snowball. Like if I have the microphone with me at that moment, I'll use it. It's like, so if I'm upstairs or if I'm out in the open and I have my phone or my laptop with me, that's the mic I'm using. Like a lot of the shit I record, like guitar and stuff, is just through my MacBook microphone, or it's like on my phone or something like that.
Damn.
The intro to the Sev remix that I made, the house one on that last track on Saga Tracks 2, that whole intro, that ambient thing, was all those sounds were recorded with my phone.
Damn. Well, I mean, it adds a lot to it. Did you, like, what was the treatment on her vocal, on the one track I kept mentioning? Because it's a really cool, like, box you have it in. Like, it's like she's in the room. Like, did you just like play it off? It sounds like you played it off your phone or into that microphone or some shit, like sitting on your bed. Like it's such a crazy texture. It's really well done. Or is that just like some in the box reverb?
No, it's like she sent me like professional studio recorded vocals. I just like fucked it up. I like put it into Ableton. I like added a bunch of effects, and I purposely like stretched it. So, you know, like when you hold shift and you drag and you can like stretch out tracks and stuff. I did that. And so, you know, when you do that on, when you like extend a certain file, like past, like, I forget what it's called. When you extend it past a point to where it sounds smooth and it'll just sound glitchy, like you'll hear different sounds like repeat in like that one audio file instead of it be sounding smooth. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like I did that with her vocals, and I didn't really do it on purpose. I was doing it for certain parts so I could like make it more on beat and just kind of like have little snippets that are dragged a bit longer so it would work better with the beat. But then I realized that once I did it with every single part of the vocals, there was certain like parts where she stuttered, and it didn't sound like it was me messing with it. It sounded like she was like stressed out or something like that, or she was like stuttering, or her voice was cracking while she was singing, and it sounded really cool to me, so I just kept it in.
Yeah, it really works, man. It's a great it's fucking cool. I think like if you did a whole album of shit like that, I would love that. That would be. I'm just saying that's what I'm looking for when you drop new stuff. Like, you thinking about doing anything like that in the future? Like, or do you want to do more ambient stuff? Like, what are you trying to do, bro?
Oh, certainly. I'm always in like an ambient beat phase. Like I'm always like, even if I make like a track with a beat, there's usually some sort of amount of ambience to it, as you've heard.
Yeah, that's why I like it. There's like a lot of air and space to them.
Yeah, but like there's a lot of atmospheric stuff, but some tracks are just ambient themselves. I like both. I guess like that's not really like new or shocking though. I feel like most electronic artists like both. Like you hear like people like Fortet or even Vegan or even like Dientel, like you were mentioning, or even like Aphex Twin. Like all of their albums have like ambient songs and then like tracks with like crazy beats on them.
Yeah, even Boards of Canada. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I've always thought of them as great, you know, pauses, interludes, or changeovers to like different sections and songs, or like even as intros, or especially if like the album is like really intense. Like say like I have like a drum and bass album, I would still be very inclined to make the final track like a either softer or an ambient track. Like I just feel like it's always like a credits track or like a great closer to just like wrap up something. You gotta have it. Like having both, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, true. It's really good.
Almost like having a fucking acoustic song in like a band record, or like some weird interlude. Like you gotta or an instrumental more so.
Yeah,
not so acoustic.
Yeah, yeah. I guess who I was inspired by for like that, like recording with your phone type shit. Do you know the band King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, of course you know that band. Like I remember in 2020 when COVID was going on and they were releasing like their album. Do you know like KGLW, like their microtonal stuff? Mm-hmm. Like they were releasing singles for KG, and it was like spring summer of 2020 when COVID was like still really strong around here in North America. And he said that I remember seeing like an interview with him, and he said that he recorded a lot of the shit on those albums, KG and LW, and a lot of the stuff in the singles they released for it, like all the guitars were recorded with like their phone because they had to make the albums from home, and they were used to like going to a separate studio to record it. So all their shit they used to make music was like in the studio, and it wasn't at their house, so they had to use what they had there. And like a lot of like the guitars and stuff, and a lot of maybe even the drums and shit were recorded with like their phones. And those albums are crazy. They're some of my favorite albums they made, and that like probably sort of like inspired me to try to like experiment with my phone to like record stuff.
Oh my God, I think I did hear that like from someone, but totally, that's fucking insane. But
Yeah,
it makes sense. That's fucking insane though.
yeah. You listen to those albums compared to like some of their other ones. Like if you listen to their thrash metal album, it sounds so clean because it was made in the studio. But if you listen to KG and LW, it sounds so rustic. It sounds like it's being played like through a cassette player or some shit.
There is a magic to these goddamn phones, man.
Yeah, no, their mics are good. Their mics are really good. A lot of the shit I record is with my phone mic.
My one buddy Nick, he does that like whenever he does like a drum kit setup, you know, he'll do like, you know, the whole 8 mics or plus whatever the fuck, and then leave his phone in the room and hit record, like, and like have that be a separate like squash track basically. And he's like, most of the time I have that rolling pretty hot, and it's just like fills everything out, and I'm like, that makes so much fucking sense because they're amazing stereo mics. It's not just a single mono track.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah, and they've got like this like weird distortion and compression to them. That's crazy. It's like if you go up to like, if you bring your guitar straight up to like a phone, you'll hear like every little sound because like the compression on it is insane. So if you want to get like that aesthetic of like acoustic guitar and all like the sliding sound effects of your like fingers on the strings and shit, like using your phone is really good actually.
Yeah, a lot of people would say they don't want that, but I hear you. If you want some real rustic shit.
Yeah, no, I don't like. I'm not like a big formality person where it's like you have to like mix everything in this way. You have to use Pro Tools. You have to like have like 80 microphones and everything. It's like fuck that.
Don't get me started with fucking Pro Tools.
Yeah,
but yeah, no. I just mentioned like that's like more cowboy guitar. When I hear all the shit, I'm like, that's fucking cowboy guitar, Dave.
Yeah, like that formality shit where you have to use Pro Tools and you have to make everything sound clean. I'm like, why would I make something that everyone else is making? That's what I think. It's like I would go to like music school to learn how to make shit that like everyone else has already made, because that's why it's like formal, is because people see it as like the standard.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why would I do that when I can like learn from people online, and I can like experiment with shit myself and meet people in like music scenes and stuff in cities and like learn from them, and then like put it together as like this DIY like fucked up shit that it sounds different from other people, instead of like making like going to music school and making like an indie rock band that sounds like every other indie rock band. That's a great
fucking elevator pitch, or whatever you want to call it, like wrapping up like your sound in like one little bit. Cause yeah, man, it's cool shit, and I'm a big fan. And when can we expect something new from you?
Well, this Friday and Bandcamp Friday, I'm probably gonna post. This podcast is probably gonna come out afterwards, so it's gonna be already up. But I'm gonna post like my first gig as kind of like a little time capsule sort of thing. I'm just gonna set up the gig and put it on Bandcamp for Bandcamp Friday as like free or pay what you want, because my friend who's also had a set at that same show set up like a video camera recording all the sets, and the audio from the video camera I think sounds really cool, because it sounds like it's not like high quality at all, but like it sounds a bit bassier because the ledge that it's standing on is like vibrating every time like a kick drum hits, but not too much to where it sounds really bad. It's like this like perfect middle, and I thought it sounded really dope. So I'm gonna like just literally like take that recording and put it on Bandcamp.
Dude, nice. I'll be checking it out.
Yeah, that's the next thing I'm putting up, is like a little time capsule sort of thing for the next like actual proper release. I'm not entirely sure. I got people remixing some songs on my new album Coco's Broken Piano, which they haven't, like, neither of the people who are remixing right now have finished yet. So that'll probably still be a little while. I'm sending
those broken remixes.
Yeah, I'm sending tracks to, like, little beats and stuff to labels, and I got one that's, like, interested right now. We'll see if that works out. And then other than that, I'm, like, slowly making up songs, making demos and stuff to send to other labels in the future. There'll definitely be shit coming out. I never stop making music. I'm always making music, especially with my weird setup where I bring my laptop with me everywhere. I'm always, like, working on music every day.
And you know what? That's another thing I wanted to mention. You can tell you really incorporate your life into your music. Like, you hear your friends, you hear, like, moments, you know, like, I can hear, like, your fucking houses and shit, like, in your samples, because they're right from your phone. Or, you know, you post like Rain Walk, and there's, like, all these iPhone samples in there, and, like, I'm looking at the Spotify canvas thing, and it's like your friend's, like, walking through a fucking thunderstorm, and it's like, damn, like, I feel that vibe right now. And I don't know, it's really nice. It's very like, pleasant and earnest, like, really, like, wearing your life on your music sleeve in a sense, you know?
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah. Well, you pretty much just said it. It's just, like, bunch of shit off my phone is pretty much all my music is. That's why it's, like, it's hard for me to, like, get into music. Like I was saying earlier, like, do I really want to go downstairs and plug in this MIDI keyboard, or do I just want to, like, figure out how to do it on my laptop right now, because I'm sitting here with my laptop open already? It's like I just bring my laptop with me everywhere, because I find the times where I'm working on music is when I don't expect it, when I'm just, like, sitting there and I'm like, let me work on music right now, and I pull my laptop out of my bag. Whereas, like, if I feel like I have to go down into my, like, setup in my room, I have to, like, plan it, and I have to be like, okay, I have to, like, go down to my room now and make music. It's, like, more of a hike in my head just to get there. That's why Definitely. It's, like, I'm way more sporadic.
Kills all momentum. Yeah, it kills all the momentum of the creativity. Having to go plug in shit and be in a totally different environment from where your creative spark started. Yeah, it makes complete sense. Man, I feel you on that.
Yeah, when I, like, think of something, like, an idea, I gotta, like, start doing it in that exact moment, or else it'll change and it won't be as good as I originally thought it would be. So it's like I have to, like, take my shit out and start working on it then.
Man, ideas. Fucking, you just, like, gave me, like, a goddamn. But, like, I don't get, like, a lot of, like, song epiphanies, really. Because, like, I don't know. I feel like there's just so much possibilities. Like, I have to just, like, sit down and fuck with different sounds, and then that will, like, immediately inspire me. Like, I'll be, you know how, like, you're fucking on a keyboard clicking through a bunch of different presets, and you're just like, and you're like, maybe one of these. That just, like, I'll hit one of them and I'm like, oh, this is it. And, like, as it's just, like, that single note, or, like, whatever I'm slamming on the keyboards will soar into an idea, or, like, I'll have a sample or hear a sample and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna fuck this up. But yeah, it's been a long time since I'm, like, chilling. I'm just like, oh, I have an idea. And, like, then go open my laptop, and, like, if my shit's, like, not already open, you know what I mean? Is that what you say? Like, you get, like, you're fucking, like, brushing your teeth and you're like, oh, and, like, you fucking spit that shit out and run to your computer, like.
Sorta. It's like my music making is very sporadic. Like I said, like, I'll just take my laptop out and start working. But a lot of the times I have that is, like, when the rare scenario where I can't actually take out my laptop, like, I'm, like, at work or something, and I don't have my laptop with me, and I'm sitting there, and then I get, like, a beat in my head, and then I keep it in my head for the rest of the day. I'm pretty good at, like, keeping shit in my head, though, actually. Like, it'll definitely change over time, and I've definitely lost a lot of stuff, which is why I'd prefer to just, like, take my laptop out instantly. But if I can't do that, and I'm, like, at work, then, like, I'll find myself, like, getting hyped up about a beat that I thought of, and then I have it, like, going through my head the entire day. And, like, I'll be, like, tapping on, like, a desk and stuff and all this shit. And then by the time I get home, it'll still be there, and I'll be able to throw it into Ableton or something.
Nice. So who are you listening to right now? Who's some, like, artists you could, like, shout out? Or just, like, if you got, like, any, like, weird recommendations?
Here's one for you and everyone else who's listening to this. Go listen to Jai Paul. He's crazy.
Jai Paul. How you spell that?
Gai space and then Paul, so like Paul, like your name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, like I would spell the first part completely wrong.
Yeah,
I was
he
like,
got
like
he's really weird. He like released and like a couple singles and an EP or something in like the mid 2010s or mid 2000s. I mean, sorry, like a long ass time ago. And then he got kind of popular from those, or he got pretty popular from that. Like Drake sampled him or something, and that's how he got really popular. But then he had like this like unfinished album of a bunch of random tracks that he never finished and still not finished to this day, at least not released. So you can like go find him on Spotify and listen to this unfinished album, but it's insane. Like a lot of the unfinished tracks are like crazy, and then like it's definitely an inspiration for me with my sound. Like if you listen to me, you might hear like similarities to my music. But tracks to check out on that album. It's like his only album, so it's pretty easy to find. Check out Genevieve, Straight Out of Mumbai, and I think it's a track called like 100,000 or something too. That track's really good as well.
Nice. Definitely will, man. Well, dude, thanks for coming on the podcast. I feel like that's a good place to end it. Is there anything you want to, like, where can people find you, dude?
Yeah, you can find me on like your regular main streaming services, like Spotify, Apple Music, that kind of stuff. You also find me on YouTube. You can also find me on Bandcamp, and it's all under the same name, like Blaned, Blaned. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok under Blaned Music. So it's still spelled the same way, but just with the music at the end.
Nice. All right, man. Well, thanks for listening, y'all, and we'll catch you next time. Later.